Life is a journey filled with countless choices, challenges, and opportunities. Yet most of us complicate it by focusing on the wrong things, chasing temporary pleasures, or being trapped by fear, doubt, and unnecessary struggles. When in reality, the wisdom of life can often be distilled into a set of simple yet powerful rules. And when you learn to live by them, you automatically eliminate 90% of your problems without even fighting them directly. Because wisdom is not about having a problem-free life, but about building a strong mindset, a clear sense of direction, and a disciplined approach that makes problems powerless in front of you. So let us begin this path towards wisdom with the first set of life rules that hold the potential to transform the way you live every single day. Because when you master the foundation, everything else aligns naturally. The first rule is take full responsibility for your life, because until you stop blaming others, whether it is your family, society, government, or circumstances, you will always remain a victim. But once you say, I am responsible for everything in my life, whether I created it or allowed it, you unlock the power of change. Because responsibility means power, and this one decision can eliminate excuses that keep you stuck. The second rule is control your thoughts, because your thoughts shape your reality. Most people think in negative patterns, doubting themselves, replaying failures, worrying about the future, and then they wonder why life feels heavy. But if you consciously replace negative thoughts with empowering ones and build a mental habit of seeing possibilities instead of limitations, you begin to attract solutions, ideas, and energy that push you forward. And you realize that life changes when your mindset changes. The third rule is learn the power of clarity, because 90% of frustration comes from not knowing what you truly want. And if you don't know what your goal is, you will keep wasting energy on meaningless pursuits. So take time to define your vision in writing. Be specific about what kind of life you want, what habits you want to build, what impact you want to leave behind. And once your vision is clear, decisions become easier, discipline becomes natural, and distractions lose their power. The fourth rule is self-discipline is freedom. Even though the word discipline feels heavy, in truth, it is the key to freedom. Because a person who is disciplined with his time, money, and habits enjoys a life of control, while an undisciplined person is a slave to impulses, laziness, and regret. And if you build even small daily disciplines, like waking up on time, reading instead of scrolling, saving instead of wasting, you begin to notice how much lighter life feels, because discipline removes 90% of stress caused by chaos. The fifth rule is control your environment, because you are not stronger than your environment. No matter how much willpower you have, if you are surrounded by negative people, toxic influences, or endless temptations, eventually you will fall. But if you design your environment with care, keeping positive people around you, removing distractions, creating systems that support your goals, you will succeed without even trying too hard, because your environment silently shapes your destiny. The sixth rule is guard your time like treasure, because time is the only resource you cannot buy back once wasted. Yet most people spend hours on gossip, scrolling feeds, or worrying about things they cannot control, while ignoring what truly matters. So create boundaries around your time, eliminate time wasters, and dedicate your best energy to learning, building, and nurturing meaningful relationships, because every hour well spent compounds into a life well lived, while every hour wasted creates a debt you can never repay. The seventh rule is value learning more than entertainment, because life constantly changes, and the only way to adapt and thrive is to keep growing mentally. But many people stop learning after school, thinking education ends with a degree. Yet the truth is that lifelong learning is the real education. So read books, listen to wise mentors, observe successful people, and never assume you know enough, because wisdom is not a destination, but a continuous process. And the moment you stop learning is the moment you start declining. The eighth rule is choose your circle wisely, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle is lazy, negative, and careless, you will unconsciously adopt their habits. But if your circle is disciplined, positive, and ambitious, you will automatically rise. Because humans are social creatures, and we mirror the behaviors around us. So never underestimate the influence of your circle. And if you cannot find a strong circle, let books and mentors become your companions until you attract the right people into your life. The ninth rule is practice gratitude daily, because problems look bigger when you focus only on what is missing. But when you consciously remind yourself of what you already have, your health, your family, your opportunities, you shift your energy from lack to abundance, and that energy gives you resilience to deal with challenges calmly. Gratitude is not ignoring problems, but strengthening your spirit so problems don't break you. And when gratitude becomes a habit, life feels lighter even in difficulties. The 10th rule is master your emotions instead of being mastered by them. Because anger, jealousy, and fear are natural, but when uncontrolled, they destroy relationships, opportunities, and peace of mind. However, if you train yourself to pause, breathe, and respond with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively, you eliminate countless conflicts and regrets, because most problems in life are not caused by reality, but by how we emotionally react to reality. The 11th rule is be brutally honest with yourself, because self-deception keeps people trapped in mediocrity. Many lie to themselves, saying they are trying hard, when in reality they waste time, or they say they are unlucky, when in truth they lack discipline. But if you develop the courage to face your weaknesses, your mistakes, and your lies, you also unlock the courage to fix them. And honesty with yourself is the foundation of true self-respect. The 12th rule is stop chasing approval, because living for the validation of others will make you a prisoner of their opinions. And no matter how much you try, you can never satisfy everyone. So live according to your values, your vision, and your principles. And the right people will respect you, while the wrong people's opinions will no longer matter, freeing you from 90% of unnecessary stress. The 13th rule is simplify your life, because complexity creates confusion, but simplicity creates focus. And when you declutter your environment, reduce unnecessary commitments, and focus only on what truly matters, you feel lighter, more in control, and less stressed. Because the human mind works best in simplicity, and most life problems come from overcomplicating what could be simple. The 14th rule is develop financial discipline, because money itself is not the solution to all problems. But financial chaos creates unnecessary stress. And if you learn to budget, save, invest, and live below your means, you remove 90% of money-related problems before they even begin. Financial discipline is not about being cheap, but about being wise. And when your money is in order, your mind is free to focus on higher goals. The 15th rule is take care of your health before sickness forces you to, because many ignore their body until it breaks. But good health is the foundation of productivity, happiness, and success. So exercise regularly, eat balanced food, sleep properly, and manage stress. Because when your body is strong, your mind becomes sharper. And when your health declines, all other ambitions collapse. So never compromise with your health. It is your real wealth. The 16th rule is think long-term, because short-term thinking leads to quick pleasure, but long-term thinking creates lasting success. Many people ruin their health, money, and relationships for temporary gratification, but wise people sacrifice a little now for greater rewards later. So ask yourself before every decision, will this matter in 5 years? And you will avoid 90% of foolish mistakes. The 17th rule is accept that pain and struggle are part of growth, because most people suffer not because life is hard, but because they expect it to be easy. Yet the truth is that every worthwhile success requires sacrifice. Every strength is built through struggle, and every wisdom is earned through failure. So instead of resisting pain, embrace it as a teacher, learn from it, and let it shape you into someone stronger. The 18th rule is avoid comparison with others, because comparison kills joy and creates endless insecurity. You may see someone richer, smarter, or more attractive, but life is not a race against others. It is a journey of becoming the best version of yourself. So measure progress against your past self, not against someone else's highlight reel, and you will eliminate most unnecessary envy and self-doubt. The 19th rule is develop patience, because most problems come from wanting quick results. But real growth, real wealth, and real mastery take time. And impatience often leads to bad decisions, wasted energy, and frustration. So train yourself to wait, to trust the process, and to build steadily, because patience is not weakness but hidden strength. And the 20th rule, which ties the foundation together, is never stop believing in your ability to change, because the biggest trap is thinking, this is just how I am, or my situation can never change. But history proves that humans are capable of massive transformation when they decide with conviction. And when you hold this belief, you will face problems with courage, persist through failures, and keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible. And that faith alone eliminates most of the hopelessness that traps people. As we continue exploring the timeless wisdom that simplifies life and dissolves 90% of unnecessary struggles, we must now move deeper into the mindset and habits that shape not just the direction of your days, but the quality of your existence itself. Because once you master the foundations of responsibility, clarity, discipline, gratitude, and belief in your power to change, the next step is to refine the way you interact with the world, the way you make decisions, and the way you build your character. Since success and peace are never the result of luck, but the product of consistent adherence to certain universal rules. The 21st rule is speak less, listen more, because many problems in relationships, business, and daily life arise from talking without thinking, revealing too much, or not hearing the wisdom hidden in silence. And if you learn to hold back your words, observe carefully, and listen deeply, you gain knowledge, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and build stronger trust with people. For listening is not weakness, but wisdom. The 22nd rule is invest in relationships that matter, because humans are not meant to walk alone. Yet most people waste emotional energy on shallow connections or toxic relationships that drain them, instead of nurturing the ones who genuinely care. And if you focus on quality over quantity, prioritizing loyalty, mutual respect, and genuine love, you protect yourself from 90% of emotional drama that comes from wrong company. The 23rd rule is control your desires instead of letting desires control you. Because uncontrolled desire is the root of endless suffering, whether it is desire for food, money, status, or attention. The moment desire becomes obsession, peace disappears. But if you train yourself to master desire by practicing moderation, contentment, and self-control, you unlock inner freedom that no external reward can match. The 24th rule is learn the art of letting go, because holding on to grudges, past mistakes, or broken dreams only fills your life with unnecessary weight. And 90% of emotional pain comes from the inability to release what no longer serves you. So practice forgiveness, release toxic attachments, and accept that not everything is meant to stay. For letting go is not losing. It is making space for new beginnings. The 25th rule is protect your energy as carefully as your money, because every task, every person, and every thought either adds to your energy or drains it. And if you keep giving your energy to negativity, gossip, or endless distractions, you will always feel exhausted and unmotivated. But if you consciously choose where your energy flows, you multiply your productivity, your happiness, and your ability to handle challenges calmly. The 26th rule is develop the habit of consistency, because talent without consistency is wasted, motivation without consistency is useless, and dreams without consistency remain fantasies. And while most people start strong but quit quickly, the wise understand that consistency is the bridge between effort and achievement. So even small daily actions, repeated over time, create extraordinary results that solve most problems before they even arise. The 27th rule is practice humility, no matter how successful you become, because arrogance blinds people, destroys relationships, and invites downfall. But humility keeps you open to learning, grounded in reality, and respected by others. And when you remain humble, you prevent the problems that pride and ego create. For true greatness is silent and secure, not loud and insecure. The 28th rule is manage your digital life wisely. Because in today's world, 90% of distractions, comparisons, and wasted time come from uncontrolled use of social media, endless scrolling, and digital overload. Yet if you discipline your online habits, use technology for growth instead of escape, and set boundaries on consumption, you regain your focus, protect your mental health, and open space for real-life experiences that matter. The 29th rule is build resilience through failure. Because no matter how disciplined or wise you are, life will test you with setbacks. But resilience is the ability to get back up stronger each time. And when you shift your perspective to see failure not as an end, but as feedback, you eliminate fear of trying and free yourself from the paralysis that keeps most people stuck. Resilience makes 90% of failures temporary and every setback a stepping stone. The 30th rule is focus on solutions, not problems. Because complaining and overthinking only make problems heavy. But the moment you shift your mind to asking, what can I do right now to move forward, you instantly gain power. And while others are stuck in frustration, you are already building progress. This habit alone eliminates most of the stress caused by overanalyzing. The 31st rule is learn to say no without guilt. Because most people overload their lives with commitments they don't want, jobs they hate, or favors they resent, simply because they fear disappointing others. But saying yes to everything means saying no to yourself. So when you learn to decline politely but firmly, you protect your time, energy, and peace of mind, and 90% of unnecessary stress disappears. The 32nd rule is seek progress, not perfection. Because perfectionism paralyzes people, keeping them stuck in endless preparation, fear of mistakes, and self-criticism. But life rewards progress, no matter how small. So if you shift from chasing perfect outcomes to focusing on steady progress, you keep moving forward without the burden of unrealistic expectations. And in time, progress itself leads to mastery. The 33rd rule is treat others with respect even when they do not deserve it. Because respect reflects your character, not theirs. And while disrespect can ignite endless conflicts, respect disarms tension and protects your own dignity, preventing countless relationship problems before they escalate. The 34th rule is develop a strong morning routine, because the way you start your day sets the tone for the rest of it. And if your mornings are chaotic, unplanned, and filled with distraction, your day will mirror that chaos. But if you start with intention, whether through exercise, reading, planning, or silence, you build momentum that carries you through challenges, making you more productive and focused. The 35th rule is avoid procrastination by doing the hardest task first, because procrastination is the silent thief of dreams, filling your mind with stress and regret. But if you train yourself to handle the most important or difficult task first each day, you gain confidence, reduce anxiety, and make the rest of the day lighter, solving problems before they pile up. The 36th rule is always prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. Because optimism without preparation leads to disappointment, and preparation without optimism leads to fear. But when you combine the two, you protect yourself from 90% shocks life throws at you, while still moving forward with courage and positivity. The 37th rule is value silence and solitude. Because in a noisy world, most people run from silence. Yet silence is where clarity is found, where deep thinking happens, and where the mind recovers from chaos. And if you create space for solitude, you gain insights and strength that constant noise can never provide. The 38th rule is never stop questioning your beliefs, because many life problems come from holding on to outdated or false beliefs absorbed from society, family, or culture. And unless you examine them with courage, they control you unconsciously. But if you question, test, and refine your beliefs, you align your life with truth instead of illusion, removing countless invisible barriers. The 39th rule is practice kindness without expectation, because kindness is not weakness, it is wisdom. And when you act with kindness freely, without demanding reward or recognition, you build goodwill, peace of heart, and relationships that protect you in difficult times, while avoiding 90% of conflicts caused by selfishness. And the 40th rule is live with integrity even when no one is watching, because integrity means doing what is right, not what is easy. And when you live with integrity, you eliminate the inner conflict and guilt that destroy peace of mind, while building trust and strength that no external problem can